Okay, it is 7 o'clock. Call the meeting to order. That's pretty good. I'm not sure. First thing is if you guys could state your name for the clerk to hear and record. Start back there in the corner with you, Stephen.
Stephen Hardy.
What's that?
Joe Armand.
Okay. Carol. Jess Silhan.
Richard Durr.
Marge Womack.
Jill Barth.
David Budgers.
Lisa Holly.
Scotty, are you a visitor? You usually record? No? Okay. I didn't know if we recorded him as a visitor or not. Okay, moving on. Additions to the agenda. Levi, do you have anything?
Nope, I'm good.
Peter, do you have any additions to the agenda?
Yeah, I'd like to discuss a letter from Kazi Munga. Curious to know if she's followed through on our request to generate a letter.
Okay, what to the response to DOE or letter as far as?
Just a description of events from her vantage point.
Okay. Had that. I had two that I wanted to add. One was executive session, a short one for about 10 minutes, and then Marge, I forgot to put you on the agenda, so I need to add you on there as well.
Thank you.
Minutes. So we have February, we tabled the minutes from January. And so you guys should have a copy of both January minutes and February minutes to approve. If you guys want more time to look over them, we can do that at the end too. That's something we need to do.
Has anybody read through these in their entirety yet?
Most of the way I skimmed some of it, but I have not read completely through it, no.
Yeah, I haven't either.
You want to wait till the end to do that?
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Okay, absolutely. Okay, how about the Johnson family towing? Did you guys get a chance to? I know we got a copy of that last month, but we decided to table voting on accepting that to be able to read through the terms and agreements.
I have no problem with anything that was in there at all.
Okay, Peter, are you?
I haven't read it yet, I have to admit.
Okay.
When did we get it?
Last.
Tonight?
No, last February meeting.
Was it in the packet?
Yes.
Yeah.
You want to? We need to wait on that then.
Yeah, I'd like to read the contents of it before I vote on it.
Okay. Yeah, we got it just shortly before the last meeting, and then tabled it then to make sure that everybody could read it. So we'll table that till next meeting then. We can always do that. Put that on the agenda for the special meeting too on the 26th. That way we don't have to wait a whole nother month. Consultant agreement for West Adams Street. So I was contacted by TD&H by Steve Marsh, which is our city engineer. He had sent me a copy of the consultant agreement for the West Adams Street project, which we got a grant for. I just wanted to run it by you guys and see what you thought. There is a process that we can go through to request qualifications from any party that's interested in putting a bid in on that job for just the consultant process. So that's design and all the stuff that goes along with it. He has one completed, being that he's our city engineer, so he sent it. I just wanted to touch base with you guys and see what you thought about, one, should we go ahead and put that request out for qualifications to allow other, do we want to see bids for consulting fees from other entities, or are we good with just going with TD&H, being that they're our city engineer? We can do it either way. There's no right or wrong way to do it. However, sometimes, most of the time, people want maybe 3 or 4 bids on that and then choose. I think you guys have probably been through that process more than I have. But I do have a copy of that if you guys want to look at it.
Okay.
But I just want to put that on the table so that we could decide that at some point.
If I recall from the past, especially when they've done legwork for us and stuff, when it comes to the engineer, normally we do go with the one that we had already,
Okay.
well, essentially hired, because from what I've heard, they can get pretty irked if they've done the legwork for you and then you give it out to somebody else.
Right.
So I know that in the past we've always used the
Okay.
engineer that we have consulting with us.
And I kind of agree with that. I mean, I appreciate the work that they've done to secure the funds and all the other legwork that they have completed. I didn't want to sign anything or
Right.
just say, yeah, we'll do that without.
Yeah.
I know in the
Although-
past that's what we've done.
Okay.
I'm uncomfortable without putting out requests for funding. I'd like to see some degree of bid process incorporated into it.
Okay. So you'd like to put out that request for qualifications document
I
so
think
that we
that's a
receive
good
some other
policy.
ones?
It's a good policy to adopt and adhere to, I think.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
What we did when PD&H got hired, we put out a request for
Right.
qualifications.
Yeah, and I just didn't know if we wanted to do it for every project specific. Like Levi said, they have done the legwork for it, but there's no harm and foul that I know of going forward with asking for other bids. So we can definitely do that. I can prepare that and have you guys look at it, and then before we advertise. Levi, the one and only chicken ordinance.
Have you read through this?
I have.
Peter, have you
I
looked
haven't.
at? Okay. I would suggest, did you see the letter from the attorney as well?
Yes.
Okay. I would suggest that we wait on this until everybody's had a chance to actually read it.
Okay.
Instead of everybody skimming through it. If you'd be willing to put that on the meeting for the 26th, let everybody read it, take 5 minutes that meeting, discuss it, and then do with it what we want to.
Okay. What is your, so Peter, in the bottom of this, there's a section that our attorney had spoke about that he didn't say it wasn't allowed, he just wasn't comfortable with it. So my question to you, Levi, what do you think about what Josh has said about that section in the ordinance?
I had 5 minutes to look through
Okay.
all of this before I came to work, or to
Okay.
the meeting.
You want
so-
to wait and read over
Yeah,
it?
I
Okay.
want to look through all of it before I
Okay.
make a decision.
We'll put that on the 26th and hiring public works employee. So you guys know we had 6 applicants for the position. 5 of them we interviewed. We had one that I tried to contact on 2 different occasions and never left message and never got a call back. So we interviewed 5 of them. Scott was in on all 5 of them. And Justin was there for 2 of them, I believe. We've interviewed all 5. The last one was Monday, and we've decided to, one, we need to set a salary, a wage that we can offer, and we have to make sure that wage will fit within the budget, and that we would let them know by Friday, with
Okay.
this Friday. So
Awesome.
that should, depending on the status of that person when they can start, what the process is there, should be pretty quick.
Is that going to be done in an executive session,
What's that?
choosing somebody,
If
choosing one of the applicants? Is there going to be a
Choosing
discussion?
Salary,
the salary definitely will be, I believe it should be. If you want to, we can. It doesn't have to be. So the mayor can fill that without the council. However, obviously, if you guys want to discuss that, absolutely.
Let's think on that. Might be useful to do so.
Is that something you want to do tonight then? I'm not exactly sure. I need to check on the process of executive session as far as hiring stuff. I don't know if we need to go to executive session to do that or if we're allowed to or vice versa. But I can...
Has the mayor made a decision on the...
I do have an opinion, yes. I haven't made that decision as far as talking to the applicants themselves. But yes, I have an opinion. Do you know the answer to that, Janice, for the hiring part? If we wanted to do it tonight, I don't want to mix anything up and go back there if we're not supposed to to discuss it. But I think we can.
The salary issue is set. There's probably no need for an executive session.
The executive session would be about the salary.
Right.
But
Okay.
you would ultimately have the hiring authority to hire who you wanted.
So that's totally up to you, Peter. It is not set at this point. We have not set one previously. So if you guys have some insight on that, we definitely can do that.
Okay. I have no particular need for an executive session, particularly since I haven't met any of the candidates.
Right. Okay. Well, I don't see the need for it then.
Okay.
Fill-in clerk. So that came about, I think, two parts. One, we've had some people fill in previously for the old clerk where she was gone, and we've since had some days where Janice has been gone for classes. She did a public records class, a bias class, and Peter was one of those people that thankfully stepped in and volunteered to come fill in for the day. But we just wanted to go forward with maybe having two people on that list, somebody that we can call if Janice has a class or sickness or illness becomes, and then just to make sure that we have somebody here so that City Hall's open in the event that Janice is gone. We had wanted a backup for our backup. So we have Wendy Cronrath who filled in just once so far, just once, and then also Cindy Silhan. Is Cindy or Cynthia?
CYN,
Okay,
Cynthia.
okay. Would be the backup number 2, so that was just kind of an informational thing. So if you guys, Janice is gone, that there'll be a different face at the desk for the day, or 3. Like he's got a clerk's conference next week, 18, 19, 20. So that was just kind of informational for you guys. Computer Microsoft update. That is also just informational. I had spoke with Mike Hardy a little bit, as well as Steven, I think, about still getting some of our computer stuff and our IT stuff up to date. I don't have... So the second computer doesn't have any kind of Microsoft Office to be able to do Word documents or Excel spreadsheets or anything like that. So it is still able. There's ways to share documents. However, if you want to create one, it's simply Notepad, I think, which is a really simple product. So I'd asked Mike about kind of what Microsoft offers for Office, for prices and how many computers, and if it's a license for just one. So I'll keep moving on that. I'm just kind of a heads up that we may come to a spot that I'd like to have Office on that computer, and then also have him maybe do a little work so that the computers that are in the city hall have a shared network. So if Janice creates a document and saves it, she can save it in a certain place that then either the second computer up here can access that, edit it, print it, whatever, and also the treasurer's computer in the back. So that was just kind of an update, but I want to make sure that there's a little bit of transparency with the technology stuff.
Okay.
3rd Street. Levi, do you want to dive into that? We got an email from you, so we kind of know where we stand on that. But
Sure.
Is this for trucking?
Yeah.
Yes.
Truck
correct.
parking?
Have you read the email?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. That's, as far as that goes, I mean, we discussed selecting a place for the trucks to park. Where would they park in town? The main two I think that we came up with would be the possibility of using Highline's parking lot for overnight parking for trucks, or, bear with me here, Joe, for just a second, or the Studebaker area down there. But in using either of those, we would have to ask permission of the owners. It's not just something we could tell people they could do. And the other thing is, could we consider that it was just a fluke that 3 of those poles went down in 2 weeks?
Yeah, I don't know what the time frame was.
Right, and those poles have been standing there for, at least 12 years now.
But, yeah.
And should we even be worried about it? And the other thing being that if we did set, say, time limits on parking or no overnight parking, say Jay's working on his building over here and he has a truck come in that needs to drop off supplies and we tell him they can only park there for 1 hour. Yeah, I don't see that going over very well at all. So I just keep thinking about it and give me your opinions, because we don't want to go buy a bunch of signage only to discover that we don't really need it or that it's not the thing we need.
If you want to sign anything, you're gonna have to pass an ordinance.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And then there's work that goes into that as well. So,
I did replace, there's a sign right up here that said no parking this side
Okay.
during the, where the state restricted and got it.
Right, they swing it right
over
over there.
okay, right.
Swing over. I
Okay.
replaced it with a reflective sign. It was bad, and I saw
Okay.
Jeff talking and parked in front of it twice.
Are these state signs, or these are still city signs because they're within the
They're
city limits?
Signs, the ones the state does their, signage are state signs, but this one is one of ours. And Jim Wilcox pointed out a while back that it was faded, and it was.
Okay.
So I replaced it with a new reflective sign.
Do you know off the top of your head, Levi, Peter, or Scott, of whether, one, we have an ordinance in place for the sign that's existing, or second, can we even do that being that it's a state highway? That was another question that came up.
Yeah, that was all done through the engineer when they redid 3rd Street.
Okay,
They wanted to be able to move the cars over so nobody can park there.
so that's more of a state thing, is where that sign that's
It's
existing
our
came
sign
from.
and our, I believe there's an ordinance for it, but I'm not,
I
Okay.
couldn't tell you. Up to this
I was just
point, I've
curious
never
on-
even thought about it.
Me either, and I forgot that sign was there, so I was just going forward maybe to check on that. If we decided that we wanted to go forward with putting an ordinance in place and or signing the rest of it, maybe to check in on that. What are your thoughts, Peter, on whether we need to put something in place for the rest of the...
I've been here almost 14 years, and parking of trucks hasn't been a big problem. I don't know why we suddenly have to make it an issue. My only concern is oil and diesel fuel.
Yeah.
I don't know whether we could put up signs instructing drivers to be responsible for their fuel and oil leakage.
Yeah, I don't think, as far as the sign stuff, I don't think that really ties in.
I don't see how we could do it, frankly.
Yeah.
I believe the truck that was leaking oil, it has been fixed. So it's not leaking oil, but that don't mean it's going, next week it's going to leak oil.
Yeah.
But right now it's not leaking.
Well, yeah, another with the leaking stuff, the other thing too is with just normal vehicles that park down here. I mean, I feel like that'd be kind of a sticky situation to get into as far as trying to sign or trying to persuade that one way or another. But so you guys are both of the opinion that the parking signs themselves are probably not necessary at this point.
In my opinion, probably not, but.
Okay.
No.
And I have the same opinion. I think it's the light pole issue is kind of a fluke deal, like Levi said, and I'd be curious to check on if there is already an ordinance in place for this other sign or what that ties into.
Okay.
So I can do some research and figure that out. Council classes. It's the last thing I have before the additions. I actually don't, they're over at the desk. I know it's been previously mentioned since the time that I've been on the council, but there are some classes that you can take online that AWC provides for us as new council members, mayors. I think they have clerks as well, go through all the same stuff regarding open public meetings, public records, and there's some other miscellaneous ones on there, but I just wanted to kind of remind you guys of the ones that are required. Justin, I think, was the one who talked to me about it, said it is technically by law required. The ramifications for not completing those are unknown, but I just kind of wanted to remind you guys to try to get those done. I think they're supposed to be done within a certain period from when we're elected. And,
Okay.
and
Did anybody from the city attend the March 6th meeting, AWC meeting?
the webinar,
Yeah,
Yes.
webinar?
I
How
did.
was it?
Good. It was an hour long, and Justin kind of chuckled. He attended. We weren't in the same place, but he chuckled when we talked about it and said, "Does any of that sound familiar?" And I said, "Yeah, a lot of it does." So they were hitting on some points. They're the mayor from North Bend, and I believe the treasurer from North Bend were both on there, and they run into about the same thing I think every other city does. So, but yes, we attended, and there's some
Was
good.
it worthwhile?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. But yeah, I just wanted to remind you guys about classes. If you guys get the time to try to get those done,
Okay.
they're good. I mean, there's some good stuff in there. You learn correct things and things to do and not to do. So,
Good.
and there's credit system on there too. If you get signed up, I think Levi, I can't remember. I printed out both I think one of you guys had some credits already on
Yeah,
there.
I did.
Yeah, okay.
I did.
So you already know that system.
It's been a while, but yeah, I've been through it.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're supposed to renew too, I believe, every 4 years. So
I was not aware of that.
I'd check on that, or I can, but I'd assume that if you go through one term and then either are reelected or
You have to do it over.
right,
Okay.
they want a refresher every 4 years. Okay. Peter, let's go to your agenda addition for the letter from Casey.
Has anybody been in touch with Casey since our last meeting when we requested that she write an account of what she remembers?
I have
Do
been
you
in
know?
touch with her. I have not been in touch with her about that specific subject.
If we're going to write a letter, excuse me for
Yeah,
interrupting, but
go ahead.
if we're going to write a letter to the Attorney General requesting a rescission on our fine, we probably ought to get that rolling.
Right.
So we should put a priority on that, in
Okay.
my opinion.
Yeah, I can email her. I have been in touch with her by email on 2 other subjects. So DOE has been requiring some information from us and Casey both for the wastewater treatment plant, and everything, as far as I know, I got 2 confirmation emails that she has since submitted all of that information to DOE, and as of yesterday, I believe, we got an email back from the Department of Ecology that stated preliminary looking at it looks good, everything's there that they need. They're gonna look at it more in depth and then get back to Casey. But so that's, on another note, that's something good that we've dealt with DOE, that they, I think, could be possibly happy with everything. So
Okay.
I'll keep you guys updated on that as well. But Peter, I will send her an email and reminder that she offered to do that, and
Yeah,
see
just
if,
see where she is on it,
Yeah.
because I would like to see as much detail as she can provide to fit in with the information we already have, so we can craft a letter and get it off to the Attorney General.
okay. I will send that email off to her and remind her. I think she's been pretty busy with some of the other stuff, so I don't know. She may have it done. I haven't asked her, but with the rest of the information that she's had to send off to DOE regarding our wastewater treatment plan, I think she's been pretty busy. Okay. Executive session. What was the first executive session that I wrote down?
Personnel issue? Or salary?
Yes, correct. That was it. That was exactly it. So let's take 10 minutes to start with and get that
All right.
going. 7:27.
You're fine.
Denise, on the RCWs on the executive session, do you have access, do you have a copy of those? I'd love to have a copy of them. Can you email it to me?
I have it printed off. I
Okay.
don't have them emailed. We could probably find them
Go
tonight.
back, yeah.
Or could you bring them by and I could make a copy of them here tomorrow during my library hours? 3 to 6 Thursday.
There's RCW ones and then the other laws.
Tomorrow's another drive. MRSC.
What you want me to-
Yeah.
or whatever it is.
No.
Because everything that you have said about it
Text, did you get it?
is exactly the opposite of everything I have read about it.
Obviously.
And I go, wow.
No, you have it all
That
printed
day I
off
went
too.
home and.
First executive session, because we hadn't-
What are you talking
I
about?
have this question.
Yeah.
Oh, no. No. For the executive session.
Yeah, well, I do, I can find it.
They go get them printed off tonight. We'll find them.
Yeah, I really appreciate it because my head keeps going.
She was gonna tell
Worry
you.
about the
And
thing.
the more you hear it, the more familiar it seems. But it certainly doesn't match what I have.
RCW, and some of them are pretty vague, so you have to go over to, what did you just call it, the other one?
AWCs and the
MRC,
or
and there's
AWCs.
another one.
The little
But
one,
those are, the AWC is just,
have to deal with that one.
an organization, kind of like a playbook,
Messages.
to guide people a little bit, but you have
Tell you
to
herself, but I
refer
guess
to the
she's
actual
like-
RCW
She
law.
hasn't seen me. I gotta talk to her about her water.
Yeah, what I was reading was the RCWs.
You know something?
That's gonna be fun.
See it here.
Okay, I don't know what-
I don't know, I'm not sure which part you're referring to.
Well, there were 16 points. Now, is that the things that could or could not be?
That you can do an executive and some you can't.
Right, and there were listings, and the
So,
finances have to
and
be
is
in
that
an
spelled
open
right?
meeting.
Exactly.
Yes.
But they just said that it can't be in an
Oh, I
open
never
meeting.
said anything about that.
No, not you.
No.
And
Just do
Today,
what
tonight at
TDS.
the table, they just said
The money-wise,
Salaries.
salaries. Salaries have to be discussed tonight, they said, in executive
There's
session.
several things in executive session you can't do. And one is pass ordinances, and I think salary, oh, crap.
They can discuss it, they just can't set it.
I do that too sometimes.
They can discuss it, but they can't
We'll just
set
get
it, can they?
We'll look at it.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'd appreciate
I'd have to
it.
clarify too.
It'll make my,
He just read it again.
what?
I'll go get it and read it.
Yeah. No,
It's a
no,
long
no.
day.
I know.
He's in Vegas.
TSS. How do you do that? S-I-L-H. There you
He's
go.
trying to get the coronavirus.
S-I-L-H-A-N.
Yeah, that's good.
Your kid.
No, but it's a risk. He's got a business.
Chris, what's up, my man?
So we didn't have a choice.
No, it's something that's been on the schedule for years.
I didn't think that this executive session was discussing anybody's pay. It's a different situation.
He has two different, yeah, I know. But the executive, he has two.
Showing or whatever.
And this one is
The question is.
personal, so I'm not sure.
I think it'll be better than being like in a room with all the beer and.
Not much, it's been pretty fast, bang, bang, bang.
He might quarantine it back home.
Or someplace along the way.
That's what I said,
Leave
14
them at the
days.
door with the thermometer.
Whether back here for now, it's not all their money or anything like that.
I don't really, it's not clear to me because I was under the impression if it's not on the printed thing, you can't go into executive session.
All I know is personal.
But it's not on here, so you can't go into executive session.
I remember reading
He added it to the agenda though, didn't he?
It doesn't matter if you add it, if it's not on the printed sheet, you're not to do it.
There's a thing addressing.
That's a
that.
different, that's a different type of meeting.
I'll look at that.
Executive session,
Let's find out.
When, in other words, when
We
you,
could verify.
when can you call executive session, is the question is.
it has to be on the agenda.
That's, yes, I know there's stuff that
So
addresses
that,
that, I
so that
just can't
people,
remember.
as the meeting approaches, citizens will know that there's gonna be an executive session.
Crossers.
And there's supposed to be a topic of some sort listed with it.
It's supposed to
Everything
be
that I've read is
87
about
feet.
this thick. It's
87 feet goes.
Well, what she's
I
talking
kind
about-
of
Just make
pinpointed,
your head go
yeah,
down.
so I
The
kinda
city of Spokane
pinpointed-
doesn't, they just put executive session. They don't have, they don't put
The agenda.
what, yeah,
No,
if
no,
it's
no,
on
they
the
don't tell you what it is,
agenda.
but she's talking about
You cut off
the meat.
It's not on
whatever
this.
the hell that's-
Oh,
And what I
gotcha.
mentioned-
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I honestly don't know what it's about.
There's-
So-
there's
No,
stuff that
I know,
relates
but she said they can't go back there and do
They
that
just can't quote it
unless it's
word
on
for word.
here is all she's saying,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I don't know what it's about.
So,
honestly.
when is the movie?
That's probably right.
The what?
Is it?
We got a screen there, when's the slides show?
That's just been here from a different meeting.
Oh.
That'd be fun, huh?
Well, because while they're back there in executive session, we gotta watch that.
25-foot lots, right? Okay. So, I got
They are, I
3
think.
lots.
Opera House, it
How's
was
that doing?
kind of cast iron.
It's doing pretty good.
I didn't
Oh, yeah,
recognize
Phil
you,
was
dear.
telling me
I
about
like
it.
hung it, and it's
What's that?
got
You
a
did
cast iron
move
tarp
around.
with an arrow through it on
Not
the
right
side
first.
post and the ceiling.
75.
And you still live in
I'm
Harrington?
pretty sure I could. Of course.
Is
I did say thank you.
I think.
About the
Did I
time you
never
said
get around?
something, somebody else said something. I did look
Oh,
at it.
no,
I-
You did.
I
I-
can have those kind of numbers.
Let's see.
I don't know, I kind of close myself off with
Just,
losing Doug,
yeah, it's been hard,
you
I know,
know,
it's hard.
and
Because of taxes.
I decided here about a year ago to go against what my doctor said, and went off all my medications.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, been suppressed for 14 years,
The fence between.
and now it's like, my clouds are lifted, the sun's shining, and
Gillen.
it's like, I want to know what the hell's going on in this town.
But I hear you.
Want to know why? How it happened without me knowing?
If it's been certified.
Exactly.
So,
It's just-
Kinda, I'm just kind of sitting here trying to, I don't even know what I'm doing here, but
Well, not there.
Well, it's your right as a citizen to come down here
just want to
and then stand up. and
maybe
raise
get a
hell.
little bit involved a little bit more,
Yeah.
you know? And,
You really,
I
think Zika,
you know, Chris,
Put that fence in.
this is one bill that I've been able to let him pay on his own and everything, and, you know, 2 months ago, my son had a meltdown on me,
3 feet,
and
that's, I would expect a few
and
inches.
this month has another meltdown on me. It's the time I do something.
Well, you know, farming, I just,
And
Playing
he
her
was the
today.
one that scribed it
Yeah.
inside.
you know, I haven't turned
And it
one
says Zika's
screw out
on
there,
one
one
side.
wheel over,
And
and I'm still
Gillen
getting
on the
damn bills for everything. I go, this is depressing, you know, I mean,
I just looked it up.
Side
in a
door.
week
They can go there now. It's on MRSC.
They really haven't.
He doesn't come back till Friday.
I'm sure it's
And I'll
gonna
be
be,
there all
Could be
day
on
tomorrow.
anything change that.
because they built it.
You should, but see, you got the S orders.
I can take a picture tomorrow and email it.
Someone,
It's very
someone
exciting.
might, I'm not gonna worry about that.
really help you forage out quite a bit.
It is, but here's the thing, I deal directly with the exporters, and he said, there's just too much wheat. We've taught, basically what it boils down to, we've taught China,
Clean out.
all Europe and everybody how to,
Which is
Australia,
actually-
how to produce it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
And they're just thumbing their nose, you know.
Both the places I owned.
So that's their excuse.
Years ago, you know, they did things.
But even though they, Russia, they're pretty
Well,
big.
it's where that tree with
But
the
you know,
bird
some of
nest,
those
huh?
places,
Well, welcome to
what they
Harrington.
produce is
Oh.
not very big, I mean,
And then we
Produces,
told
but
several
it's not-
places that it,
as much as we.
If anybody wanted to have it
yeah.
surveyed, they could do it.
And we're exporting a lot more
It-
for out,
Yeah,
and we're not
It's
getting a
much
fair
money,
price
I
for
don't
it.
think we
No.
ain't gonna do that.
actually, well,
Yeah, pretty close.
it should be around 10, 12 bucks a bushel right now, if you keep up with,
Well, I don't think. Is that how it
inflation of the
works?
dollar,
Yeah,
at least.
I don't know.
I'm not exactly sure.
Well,
Do you know that, Dennis? If you take time for an executive session, you can come back at any time, right? You take 20 minutes, you can be back in 4.
What Janice says.
They use
said
that
yes.
excuse to-
Okay. I mean, we're 20, 40 seconds off when we came out, but I was just curious.
Coronavirus.
So I'll just say 7:37.
Yeah, it was pretty much right on,
Okay.
Well,
right on 10 minutes.
yeah, everybody's kids.
Okay.
That's the IRS. Tell them, I'm not gonna give you money.
If I missed anything,
Corona.
I feel like I'm blowing through this kind of fast, but
It's supposed to be a good meeting tonight. Or, well, it already happened. No,
okay, thank you guys for allowing us those 10 minutes. This time, the last thing that I have on my list, at least, unless I've missed something, is Marge. You wanted to be on the agenda, and I apologize that I forgot to put you on the official one, but I did remember to add you on there on the agenda.
Yeah, I have a letter of concern that I'd like to read into the minutes, and then I'll leave it with you so you can have it, if that would be possible. So I guess I'll just read it. Having spoken with Mayor Pro Tem Nathan Luck yesterday, I still feel the need to write out this letter of concern to have it read into the minutes of the meeting. Council members were sworn in January 8th. The original minutes for that meeting erroneously recorded that Levi Shank had been sworn in with the other members of the council, which in fact he was not, in January. The form that gets filed at the courthouse was dated January 8th, but the actual date that they signed the form was in February. These were then sent on to the Lincoln County Auditor, where they became a legal record. Since Levi was not sworn in until February, how can his form be dated January 8th? And just like we discussed. Justin stated at the last meeting, so that'd be the February meeting, our minutes are our official record. When they are in error and council members were prepared to approve them until Peter noted that there were errors, it seemed that the council is just reading over the surface without much attention to what they actually state. Just as above with the forms that went to the courthouse, the signing of legal documents and the minutes should be handled with greater care to pay attention to the details as to whether they are true and accurate and sufficient to meet the requirements of the state audit. The actual time that late members arrive should be in the minutes to validate the count of any votes that are taken. And I know that Bunny used to do that faithfully, every meeting. And it seemed to be kind of pointless, but it really has a purpose. It is my hope in the future that the council will pay attention to what they sign and make sure the date is accurate. Thanks for listening to my concerns. And I have the sheets here, like I showed you. I don't know if the council members want to see what I'm talking about, or if you just take it at face value that that's what it is.
That's totally up to them. So just to add on to
I would like to. I'm curious. Yeah.
add on to that, Marge, thank you. So with your concern, I did
Second page of each one.
Okay.
I did contact our attorney and also Shelley Johnston at the county. Shelley, unfortunately, she said she felt like it was maybe legal advice, and she didn't want to give that to me as to how we should proceed with this current one. Obviously, in the future, we have to, I think, just do a better job of making sure that things are recorded and dated and things that are correct, especially like you said when we sign them. But this one going forward, I did talk to Josh today, and his legal opinion was that we could be sworn in on a date and sign on another day. Whatever day we sign the piece of paper, though, does need to be correct. So we can be sworn in and then 2 weeks later sign it. However, the day that you physically sign it does need to match the date that's on there, so those are not correct. And he also advised that we need to correct those dates. So that kind of answered 2 questions for me. I thought maybe that we had to sign and be sworn on the same day, and it doesn't sound like we have to. So going forward with these, we just need to amend these for the date purpose. So we're gonna go ahead and go forward with that and get that changed and get that fixed.
But more than anything, I just want the council to pay attention to what they're signing.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy for somebody to hand you the minutes of the meeting and to read over the top of it, and yeah, this all sounds familiar, and not really think about, is there anything missing?
Right.
Did anything else happen that should be here?
I do agree with that. One more thing on this too. What was I going to say? Maybe that'll come to me. As far as the minutes go, I do want to remind everybody in the public that those, I agree with you wholeheartedly on making sure that they're correct. Those are a summary. So I feel like as long as nothing is in there that shouldn't be in there, I think we're okay, just because we have a digital recording and official minutes that we can go back to. That we need to be careful and just make sure that, yes, that actually happened if it's in print. But if there's something that was in fact said or didn't get put into the minutes, that we're okay there. Janice typed quite the copy of minutes for the last 2 months, so we're good on those. But
And I guess my other concern is that, like, the potential error that I made about the credit card or credit account. I have not had time to listen to the entire tape yet.
okay,
I lost my train.
I did it once already too. So
Don't credit card or credit account.
No, that's not where I was going.
Oh,
Out to lunch.
Thought I was the only one that forgets stuff.
there's 3 of us now at least.
it's another sign of coronavirus.
That's what I did, dude.
Come on, people. Stop it.
Everybody's got to gather their toilet paper now.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to return now. I don't know where I was headed with it, what I actually had said.
Got a new zip code.
I got what I had to say about the minutes, but there was still something that I wanted to add about the fixing the. Oh, I do know. The votes were so with Levi being sworn in at a later date. The votes in the minutes have been reflected for his vote. So the minutes are correct, and then we have a couple of things that we need to touch up because of that. We need to revisit on the special meeting on the 26th. That's the other part that I was going to tell you, and I forgot. So I have 2 things here yet for the HHPC reimbursement and the bills as well. We need to make sure that we revisit those to make sure everything's kosher for the voting now that you've been sworn in. So that's all I had on that. So you got anything else?
Yeah, if I could find it.
Well, if it comes to you, let us know.
My computer went off on a spin, and
You have to reboot.
it was fairly important. It was about the minutes, but it's gone.
Well, I can open it up to any other public comments at this time, and then before we adjourn, if you think of it, yell at me.
Did I miss something with the bill coming up? I mean, it jumped by $21.
So, I guess to answer that question the best that I could, there should have been a letter sent with it.
There was a letter, the letter that I received was dated March 6th, however, that we were charged the new rate in February, which that is not legal. I hate to tell you guys that. And how was the public notified of this rate increase? And yeah, and this letter says, you know, somewhat. However, I do remember getting a letter, I believe, and, you know, trust me, people, I've been kind of out of commission here for a while. However, I do believe, how long have we been paying this loan off with the Public Works Board? And
That is a
this one.
newly instated loan. When did, I don't know the exact date on it, but
Okay.
I'm gonna say mid to late last year.
Okay, I believe our last, well, I'm not even sure the last one, but the loan that, you know, we were promised that I don't know what amount, would be knocked off of our bill once that, in 2 years. And I'm talking years ago. I'm not talking just recently. That never happened.
Yeah,
And
it did.
Pardon me?
It
That
was
surcharge was reversed on schedule, as I recall.
And when was that then?
That was
about 4 years ago.
Four
It was about
years
4
ago.
years ago,
Years
yeah.
ago. And it was a surcharge for 2 years, I believe. And it was reduced on schedule.
Yeah, because
It
that was when
was.
Yeah.
that was when Rick was still on the council that
that
went
was
through.
before my time.
Yeah.
4 years ago. Okay, I want to look into that. Now, when we went, you guys did a $21 rate increase on us? And that's
It
what
was
we,
voted on.
that's what I'm seeing,
It
correct?
was a 10% increase.
Yeah, it was a percent, but I don't recall the exact dollar
Do
amount.
do you guys not realize how many people in this town is struggling just to pay what they're having to pay
do.
now?
I think we do.
And do you understand that when this was put in, this was not, you know, hung on our windows where people can, you know, there's a lot of people that, you know, 50 cents, granted, it was put in the paper. You know, that paper cost 50 cents. There's a lot of people in this town that 50 cents buys a half a loaf of bread. So a lot of people wasn't aware of this rate increase. And I still don't believe too many people are aware of it. And I'm really surprised there's not more people here tonight to talk about it. And I'm not, because like I said, I've been out of commission. And maybe I need to come in and maybe I need to get on the board here and find out. But $21 rate increase for our community is totally,
It's a lot of money.
cannot happen.
A lot of money to a lot of
Way
people.
too, our food bank is being cleaned out every week. Every week. We can't even feed our kids in this town. And this is the flat rate. What's going to happen when I start watering my garden that I have, that I depend on? I use a can every fall. So I can eat, so I can feed my family. And now, last year I was paying $180 just to keep my garden green, or my yard green, and my garden growing. $180. And then on top of that, that's not even worrying about the sagebrush all around my property. And the buildings in the property that's not being, nobody's maintaining, nobody's taking care of, and my house is threatened by fire. If a train comes by and sparks, my house is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if I'm not going to be able to water this summer. And something's got to be done. Something has got to be done.
Mm-hmm.
We can't feed our children.
So I think the answer.
And you know, I've done a little bit of research on my own, and Spokane, their water rates, sewer, garbage, $131. Davenport, less than 100. Sprague, 116. So why are we at $166? Flat rate. And this letter right here, that's supposed to tell me why you guys raised me up $21, this letter?
That's
And
not just water
this is supposed to
expense.
help me?
That's not just water expense, that's
Water,
utilities.
sewer, and garbage.
Yes.
Yes.
That's just
And
made
then
to
on
address
top
the
of,
main
we'll
points.
talk about garbage. I'll talk about garbage. When do we have to start tipping our garbage? Man, tipping? I see that tipping.
That's just a term.
Are you like
for,
serious?
that's a term for
Term for what?
what they do. It's a tipping floor. So tipping fees is what the charge is that we get charged as a city.
To cover rate increase by Sunshine. Oh, and why did we have to switch garbage people?
The other
Probably to
garbage
try to
company
save money for the
Pardon me?
citizens.
The other garbage company refused to renew the contract.
Because he wanted an increase in his pay.
No, he.
Yes, he wanted an increase in his pay. I specifically talked to him. And this city would not give it to him. But now we've got Sunshine and you guys are asking for more money from him, for these people.
I don't think we directly control the wage for the garbage man though, right? They just write a contract from there.
Right. They asked
Company.
for more in their contract than we could afford to pay them at the time, and Sunshine was the only other company that was willing to come out here.
Yeah.
Didn't the county just,
And so now Sunshine is raising their rates and
Yep.
And
They-
the county as well,
And the county.
where that company then, where the end place for the trash is.
Okay, so Sunshine I see servicing all these other little towns, but we're paying $166. That's well, let's see, 60 some dollars more than Sprague. Yeah. Okay, not 60, 45 more dollars than Sprague. 100 or 60 more dollars than Davenport. 30 more dollars than Spokane. Now come on, guys. We've got kids to feed. You guys want us to keep our yards green and pretty around here. Well, I'm not even going to be able to afford the $166 a month. So, and I know I'm not the only one. I mean, I know there's probably, I'd say, at least 45% of the people in this city are on a fixed income or low income or have no income.
I think one of the
And
major
here we are at $166, the highest.
I think there's a lot of things that drive the prices for that some which we cannot control. It's just flat we can. Some we can control, and some of those things that are involving, especially with the water and some of the other stuff, is some of the updates and the mandates that we're required to do as a city. So this is handed down from the
Right.
state and saying you must do this or else there will be ill effects. So
I understand
so
that. I
so
understand that.
that's part of it. Then we have to turn around and be able to pay for those things that are being
I
required by the
understand
state.
that. So does the city of Sprague, so does the city of Spokane County, same with Davenport,
But other
they're
towns
not
have-
paying $166.
They have other sources of revenue.
They have
This is
other
the only
sources of
one we have.
revenue.
Well, I
they
think
have-
there's something that needs to be done because there's too many kids in this town, too many people in this town that are hungry, that can't keep their yards green already, that are not staying above water. And this is just overnight, $21? No. No.
Were you aware of the increase?
I will get the whole city picketing and I will do whatever I can. No. This is not fair, not for our community. We can't feed our kids.
So I have a couple more things to add. On the letter itself, I apologize that doesn't seem sufficient. However, I do feel like that is meant to. That was sent to all the
sewer lines
citizens.
and all this. I mean,
Can I
I've heard
finish
this.
my spiel?
I've lived here for 30 years. 30 years.
Me too.
I know. I used to babysit
I know.
you. So anyway, 30 years, and we've had nothing but problems with our sewer lines, and we're still You know, I would have probably not been so about this if it would have just went up maybe, you know, a few dollars, and it would have been, people would have been notified a little bit better. But $21 and it only be put in the paper?
Well, there is
And this letter after the fact?
that is
Doesn't our citizens get a chance to say, wait a minute,
that's what you're doing right here.
that's what I'm doing, but how many of our citizens, this is after the fact. This
Correct.
is after the fact. This is my February bill. And it's $161 or 66.
So we ran into some problems as far as the letter goes. We had some personnel change in here, so that's not an excuse, but more of a reason of why that came afterwards. I apologize that came out after the first billing cycle went out. We had somebody that was previously working on that, and then had since left, and then so it got kind of the trickle down effect. So I agree with you on that part. But the second part is that's just to hit the main points. You said that didn't suffice. I feel like that is a letter put out there to simply give you the idea of why we didn't want to leave you guys hanging at all. So I think last year there was another letter sent out. Was it last year or 2 years ago about the rate increase? There was a letter sent out with that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, I don't know that there had been a letter. Maybe there had. I don't remember.
I'm sure I will find them. And like I said, I am not on top of this. I will be on
Yeah,
the
and
next meeting.
we
The
encourage
next
people to
meeting
come
I
in and
will
ask
be.
questions, and that's absolutely and you're right.
Yeah, $21 is too much, people.
When you go through your budget process, is there any input from the peanut gallery or the public? Or?
So no, we some of this we do not in a formal meeting, but some of it, obviously, the adoption of the budget is. But no, I'm not aware. At least I'm not aware of any
Well, just
input.
Looking at like her questions are very valid. Is there when can she participate, or can she participate, or anyone in the process of saying, hey, I disagree, you guys want to raise, what's it for? Is that
Yes,
open?
council meetings.
We discussed this issue at least 2 council meetings.
Yeah, I think
And
that
it was
would be it.
advertised.
How was, excuse me, I didn't mean to, how was it advertised?
On the agenda, the meeting agenda, which is
It's not
posted
an
in the front
advertisement.
window.
No, I'm asking how was the increased notice given to us so we could come in and discuss it before it happened?
It was on the meeting announcement.
So then it wasn't.
We
So it
post-
was
we
never
post-
announced that you guys were gonna raise our rates $21.
We talked about
Nobody
it
knew
at
about it
several-
except for in here.
it's a late Christmas gift?
Is that what you're explaining or saying to
No,
me?
Everybody
I'm
has a
saying it
chance
was
to know.
advertised publicly.
Where was it advertised publicly?
We put out an agenda for every meeting. And I think
That's not-
this is for
That's not what
tonight.
I'm asking you.
Advertising.
That's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking, when did you guys decide, when you guys decided to raise our rates, $21, when did you guys decide to do that? And when did you guys notify us prior to doing it so we could come in and say, no, we can't afford this. We can't afford this, you guys have got to figure out something different.
There was an opportunity at the public meetings, at the council
Did you
meeting.
guys advertise that you guys were gonna raise our rates by $21 prior to doing it? And did you guys make it a notice to where the public knew you were gonna do this prior to doing this, to where the community could come in and say, look,
They had-
something else needs to be done.
I
We
believe-
can't afford
I
this.
believe they had an opportunity to do that.
And when was that? And I'd like to see
I
it.
think in the December meeting.
Yeah,
we
And I'm not
discussed
talking in the meeting, you guys.
So wait a minute.
I am talking.
You have to come
How
to
was
the
it
meeting to
publicly
even know
announced?
it.
Exactly.
But there's no other
Was
correspondence.
it put in a newspaper? Was it?
It
No,
wasn't.
I don't believe
Nothing.
so.
Nothing.
Nothing.
There's no
That's
other
not legal to do,
correspondence.
you
It was
guys.
just come to the meeting.
I'm not a lawyer.
That's what, basically.
Yeah. It
Yeah, and
does
I don't
not
know the
legal.
answer to that either.
Well,
So in the future, how could we remedy this to put it in the paper or send out letters to the citizenry or?
Should be a letter in their
Something.
bill
it should
stating
be a
that
letter, yes. I agree.
November, December's
But
bills
she's
to
talking way
remind
before,
them.
is it, in
Well,
the
yeah, but they-
process?
Yeah, I know, but that's the only way you can fix it now, because
From
they
my
didn't do
recommendation, what
that.
I would say is, prior to a rate increase, at least 2 months, the next 2 months, you should include at least a notice saying there will be
Yeah.
discussion
And
at the
there
council
was-
meeting associated with the rate
Okay,
change.
there
Please
was not
join
that.
us, please, because
That
this,
was with the fire
I don't
department.
think the community was aware
Well,
of
when
this
we
until
voted on the
they got their bill
district,
and this letter.
it was publicly noticed.
And this letter is dated, oh, what, wrong letter.
That was
I believe it was
when
March
they voted
6th.
on that rate increase.
And you guys raised our rates 2 months ago.
But that was a supplemental informational note as
That's
a
against the law.
as a courtesy.
No, it's against the law to raise our rates without notifying us. That is against the law.
So to check.
And I don't. Yeah, I need to check in that. I don't know the answer to that.
I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an accountant.
Did we pass an
Couple of years
ordinance?
down, you know,
Did
but
it
I know it's
require an
against the
ordinance?
law.
Yes,
It
it
would,
did.
you'd have to. Yeah.
If we passed an ordinance, it had to have been advertised, didn't it? Do you
Yeah.
remember the
That's
advertisement,
5 days, I believe.
the date?
I don't off the top of my head.
I
no.
don't, but I
It
know
would have
I'm the
been
one that
put in the
placed it.
newspaper for at least 5 days.
Yeah.
It ran for 2
Newspaper
weeks.
that costs 50 cents that 3/4 of
A
us
dollar.
won't go and buy because we have to feed our children.
But if you're asking us to do it the legal
You
way,
could d-
which I would want to do that,
You
then
could've
if we
put it-
if
no-
we did that, and then there was still not intake for whatever reason of somebody being notified, I don't feel like that's on the city.
You guys had no problem sending this out. Why didn't you send us a public notice 2 months ago saying you were gonna raise our rates? So we could come in here and say, no, something else needs to be done. We cannot afford to feed our
I
children.
think we need to check with whoever the
think-
powers
yeah,
are to
I
be what the correct process is to do that and make sure that we're able to follow that process. I don't know what that process is.
Well, it surely wasn't done correctly. I
I
know
will
that.
check into that and find out.
I do believe the community has a say-so if you guys are gonna raise our bill by $21.
You bet we're here for and by the community, so
Can I just
No
say
absolutely.
fairness.
Nathan wasn't
Mayor.
here then?
Yeah,
So
They were going through a lot of
the
changes.
Brenna something that had
The right hand
nothing to do
didn't
with
talk to
him.
the left hand. It
There's
was a
a-
mess.
There's a council member that's not present here because they had quit or resigned.
It's responsible for it.
And then there's 2 members that were here that aren't here now.
Okay.
So, and Nathan is pro tem, he took over here just with the last meeting, you know.
Yeah, last
Yeah,
meeting.
this is new for him.
So, in all fairness, but I mean, it's still, the embodiment is still responsible for stuff, but there's other
Yeah.
players that were involved.
But
too.
that's part of why he doesn't know the answers, is because he's
Okay.
just.
And I'm
He
definitely
wasn't in
willing
charge
to
at the time.
research those. I just
Yeah.
can't honestly. I don't want to say something that I don't know.
I mean, is this made in stone already? I mean, is this set in stone?
Yes.
I mean, our community is, that, I don't believe our community had a chance to,
Input on it?
yeah, have any sort of input on this and.
What is your take on being able to attend a public meeting that was just? So we've established that there wasn't anything in the paper, but there is something that Peter spoke about that we put the agenda out, and then that is that on the agenda about being people are allowed, just like you are in here, to come into the council meetings when we have those particular items on there. Do you think that people should come in
I think.
at those meetings to discuss
To be
it?
perfectly honest with you, I think there's a lot of people in our community that is intimidated to come into a meeting. I think there's a lot of people in our community does not have the education and the knowledge, or even feel like they can approach.
That's too bad.
But yeah, no, but that's the way it is. We have a lot of people in our community that are a lot less fortunate than we are, and that is not able or capable of standing up for themselves.
Do we have something like
And
a
that's
public
what-
service announcement that could go out to people to
Yeah.
address in the future?
Just
I li-
curious.
Does anybody know the percentage of people who vote in this town? Because I know it's not 100%.
No, very low.
So
Not
it's
even
like
half.
those people
It's
have to
probably
be
very low.
educated enough to be getting their
Exactly.
ballots. So whoever's voting or not voting is deciding who makes these decisions.
Oh, I understand that. However, I'm just trying to say
you're
is
fine.
I don't understand why Harrington, and don't get me wrong, maybe I need to come in and look at the accounting or look at what you guys, how far, I mean, maybe that's what I need to do to understand this better. However, I do know that $167 for a city bill is outrageous. And I believe there's going to be a lot of people who are not going to be able to pay that. I believe there's going to be a lot of yards that aren't going to get watered, which is going to turn the city into a fire hazard. I believe there's a lot of weeds. I mean, if I'm going to be paying this kind of money, I'm going to be down here complaining about and nit and pick about every little thing there is. That's just how it's going to be.
I do feel that Harrington has
I'm-
different needs as far as why the rates you've discussed about other towns. So I feel that every town does have different needs for what they in turn need to turn around and pay. And one of those for us is the stuff that's handed down from the state. So not every city's needs are the same as far as what we have to pay as a city, which in turn goes to the citizens.
And where do we get copies, or how do we find out
Thank
what's
you.
going on with that? I mean, is that
Yep.
open to
Need
the
to know
public?
I would
Record
certainly
or
think so.
You just have to come into a meeting, or can you come down here and talk to the clerk and say, I want to see
You have to
the
submit,
budget process, or how do you guys handle that? Or
I'm
is it-
pretty sure you have to submit an information request to see what.
For paper public records requests, yes. I think you could talk to any one of us, and I would certainly encourage, at least for myself, that you do that. As far as the needs, I feel the best way to do it is at a council meeting. That's where all our business is conducted as far as throughout the year. So it may not everything be in one meeting, but things might go for 2 or 3 meetings, and then you can find out what's going on, why we have a $22,000 loan. That's not a secret. It's
Right.
there's reasons behind that, but I think that would be the best way to find out after the fact. I think probably a records request or just asking somebody.
So, what if I want to become a member of the council?
You gotta file for election.
Is that how we go about doing that?
Yeah, you go over to the courthouse when the election years are up, or
All
here.
right, yeah, okay.
And they just had a spot, well, stay tuned.
Stay tuned, okay, thank you, I'll do that.
I mean, the biggest thing is, I think she's grasping at right now, as well as myself, is the only place you get this agenda is if you walk by and see it in the hall here.
Or the post office. Yeah.
Okay, the post office has it. She gets the mail, so I don't go there. So how can you make that can you make it easier for people, or more transparent, that, hey, this is your right as a citizen of the town, taxpayer, whatever, that you are welcome to come here and express, or, whatever. And like you said, a lot of them probably are too shy, let's say, or feel inferior in some way, and don't realize that they come down and converse and talk with people. And so you put it in the advertiser. I mean, we have it. How often is the meetings?
Once a month. The city council meetings?
City council,
Yeah,
yeah.
once a
Once a
month.
month.
At least once a month.
Yeah.
So,
at
I mean,
least.
how
Yeah, Bill.
a bill, I guess.
Put it in the bill.
I don't read those things.
You don't,
Yeah,
I do.
but,
See, and that's the problem, though. There's a lot of people that either
Right.
don't read something or they don't want to be involved. So I get for the people that do want to be involved. I think we could maybe talk about working on a way to.
Do you mind if I contact a few of the other communities around here and find out how they give notices?
No, I think that'd be great.
I was
Like
going to
the
say, there's
grocery
a couple
store?
of communities around that actually have a sign up where you can give them your email address, and they'll send
Okay.
out, this is the meeting agenda.
Yeah.
these are the
Yeah,
meeting
I'm
notes.
curious now. I'll give a few of them a call and find out what they do.
So, now back to my, this is the flat rate, correct? So, come summer, when I'm trying to make sure my house isn't gonna burn down because there's weeds growing everywhere, and, I'm taking care of the building next to me, my whole lot, the lots over here. I call the railroad every year to have them burn, or the weeds. I still have weeds all the way over here. That's not my responsibility. And if any of that starts on fire, my house is going to burn down because I'm not going to be able to afford to water this winter or
So I think
summer.
as far as the question about the flat rate, Scott, would you elaborate a little bit on that rate? So we have a allotted, that is not a flat rate, just to have it cooked. We have so many
This
gallons.
summer, it's going to go up.
We have so many gallons that we get within that charge.
flat rate, you get 5,000 gallons.
5,000 a month. Okay.
And then it's like just a few cents for every.
Do you know anything about the rate?
I usually
Sorry, I should
don't.
have asked you.
It's every 10 to 20,000 units, it goes up either 20 or 40%. 20% up to a certain point, and I think over like 40,000, it goes to 40% or 40 cents.
It's pretty inexpensive.
20 cents and 40 cents above the 30, 40, or above the base.
I
whatever it is
just
now.
want to make sure that you knew that
That's
wasn't
cheap. Yes,
included.
however, that's cheap. If I was only being charged $115 a month for a flat rate.
I don't know the answer to this, but I think it's kind of like your Vista bill. Well, you know, there's people on a comfort level. Everybody will know about that.
keeps it kind of the same.
Yeah, even keel. Could that be implemented? I don't even want to try and figure this out, but why and why not? Could that be implemented to help people like Lynn and others? And where, I don't know the answer to that.
I understand your question. I personally don't know the answer to it.
Yeah, I'm just saying for
Well,
everybody
there's
to.
no lower rate month that would even, like with your power bill, you don't have the main heat that you're
Yeah.
using in the winter
Mhm.
or in the summer, so it's lower, so they can kind of juggle the amount, but water bill's the same. I'll tell you, I have a really big lot and I water everything a lot, and I don't think I've ever been charged more than the flat rate.
I have
I
a
was gonna say, I've
huge
got
lot,
3 lots and I've
and
never been charged over.
I get charged, my highest bill last summer was $184.
Wow.
Well, the different soils are going to absorb and hold, retain water different, so.
Mine's rock. I
And
usually end up spending an
mine-
extra 10 or 15
The
bucks a
big part
month.
of my lot was still dying. So, and I live right by the tracks, so I worry about the sparks from the trains. So I have to make sure that it's always a little moist by there, because if it sparks, my house is gone. And then I've got the lumber yard right next to me, nobody takes care of, and I have to take care of that. I've been mowing it for the last 3 years, and nobody seems to want
I
to
can't remember.
find out or call the people to take care of that either. However, I guess that's something I'll have to deal with. The $167, and then we're gonna go up during the summer, and not a darn thing we can do about it. And this is just set in stone, nothing we can do about it to help any of the community out who are a little less fortunate, and because I do believe this is going to hurt a lot of our community. It's going to hurt our children. It's going to hurt our kids.
Well, you've said a lot of things here, but one thing I would like to emphasize is there are members of the council who expressed a preference for economy, who've argued against increasing water bills on some customers anyway. So we're very sensitive to the cost of living in Harrington and the cost of utilities. The problem is we are compelled under the law to perform in certain ways with respect to water and its testing, with respect to
To the
garbage
bills.
And with respect to the
forgot
wastewater
at the
treatment
beginning.
plant, we have no choice in the matter.
I understand that. You
And
know what?
we've talked about all
Spokane
those
is,
issues.
Sprague is,
Pardon?
Davenport is, they all are. Every county is. What
It's
I'm
in
not,
that
what
$12
I'm
million
trying to,
treatment plant.
okay, you know, you say $2 per month charge will be removed from your bills after the 5 years. Okay, $2.77 because of the loan. Okay, we are $30 more than Spokane, $100 more than Davenport, and almost $45 more than Sprague, and I didn't check Odessa. So we are, there's quite a bit different here, and that's what
But again, I
I'm trying
think
to get
different cities
to.
have different needs. So our loan that the three, maybe what we have to take that loan to use to pay for, excuse me. We take that loan to pay for. Maybe our circumstances are different than Sprague and Spokane. Spokane has how many people? 500,000 or something? I have 400,000.
Depends
Of
what
course
time
they
of
can
year.
have a lower rate.
Yeah.
But so there's different circumstances, and this is the circumstance that we're
And
dealing
like,
with at this point.
Okay, then what I need to do and find out so I can understand this better and maybe accept it better and,
Justification sheet. or-
I want, I need some justification of why this community
Our geographical
is
location.
higher
part of
than
it.
everybody else around us. And our roads and our sidewalks and our sewers and it has been for the 30 years that I've lived here. Always higher than everybody else for the whole 30 years that I've lived here. Harrington has always been higher.
I think you're more than
Always higher.
welcome to
Write a letter
anything. I mean, yeah, we can talk
Write
to
a
the
letter
clerk.
to who?
to the council
Asking what?
proposing a reduction in the fees, but bear in mind that our hands are tied in many
If you do
respects.
that for her, you'd have to do it
For
all.
everybody.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, I'm
It
not
would be as
talking
a
about
gen-
one citizen. I'm
I mean,
talking
I-
about,
I-
we introduced a rate increase
For
in-
everybody.
at the December meeting, I believe it was.
To be revisit the rate
Yeah.
increase. That's what it was talking about.
Yeah, because I do need to look into this more anyway.
Well, I appreciate you coming.
I just wish that we would have been notified better on this, and I will be checking in on that too, so.
Okay.
We'll talk about
Well, I
But I
appreciate you
do
coming in,
just-
expressing. I mean,
Feel that this is just
Expressing
not
your-
right.
Would the council look into something like that? I mean, just food for thought, some kind of program or so, I mean, Lord
There-
knows I hear a bunch of programs.
As far as I knew, there
So-
was one in place, but they weren't
Suppose-
gonna be putting anybody else on it. Once those 7 people that are on it fall off, then it's gonna be
Done away with?
done away with.
Yes, and
That's the last I heard. But that could also be revisited. That is going by income level from the county. We get that information from the county, it's verified, and if they fall within a certain income guideline, then
correct me if I'm wrong, but just by looking at the bill, I think, isn't there a 20% utility, or the city charges 20% utility tax on all the services? You're taxed on this, it's like a tax on a tax, basically.
no, it's
Not tax on
it's
the
separated.
utility.
The surge charge for like garbage is not included in that.
But you're still paying
it's-
$20 on that garbage bill. At least it was when I looked at it.
And see, if I
Yeah.
wanted to
20%.
take care of my garbage of my own so I didn't get paid for that, I can't do that.
And my question is, I often wondered, what's this 20% utility tax for? You know, it's been on there for some time. Well, you guys maybe have been here, but, you know, I'm talking like last 10 years or so it's been on there. I thought, I don't know where it's coming from. And I guess it's justification. You have that, and then you raise the rates of the other. where's it going? I mean, what's it
Well, I
for?
think, again, I think that's where people need to be engaged with the city,
Right.
as well as the council members and whoever else they can to ask those questions. I've had very, very few questions asked.
Yeah.
Very few since I've been on the council. People don't seek that information, and when they do, very rarely do they actually come ask. Janice maybe gets more through the door, but I guess I'm encouraging people to do that.
And that's what I think, that needs to be out there for everybody. I mean.
We're a local government, and I don't know how people wouldn't
I think
know
we're
that they could.
intimidated, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we need to move on at this point.
I'll
Thank you for
leave that
coming
with
in.
one last thought, if I
We've
may.
opened our eyes to the issue, and
Good.
a lot of us are
Oh,
very
I was
sensitive
just-
to the cost of
I'm
living
kinda
in
new to
Harrington
town, so I was gonna
and
try to
utility.
offer just an observation. I mean, this bill, right or wrong, is what's funding this town.
Mhm.
Spokane, Odessa, Davenport, they've got a retail base. They got sales tax that they can rely on. What's here, 5 maybe businesses that are bringing in any level of?
I was gonna ask the same question, what other sources of
This
revenue
is our
does the
source of
city-
revenue.
That's
This is
it.
it.
So what happens to our property?
I don't
tax?
envy your situation, having to basically look at that revenue and trying to figure out how to stretch it out for everything. I looked in a lot of places before I decided to live here. And I'm from the other side of the mountains. And yes, the bill's higher, but for me, the benefits outweigh that. So, I mean, I don't mean to be here sitting as a cheerleader, but, I mean, I was shocked to see it too, but I get it. It makes sense to me, and it's unfortunate, but bills are bills.
Well,
And nobody's running the city for profit, I'm pretty sure.
Correct. That's what our budget's for.
one thing to consider too, and this is small solace for anybody, but when we raise those rates, we have to pay it too. We don't just
Garbage goes up.
do it willy-nilly. We
where's
are
the garbage
considering
go?
ourselves as much as anybody when we have to do this. It's not with any joy.
Well, I
When the
understand
state
that.
mandates you do something to the sewer system, you gotta do it. Well, where's the money come from? You gotta pass it on, because there ain't no
And when
bank
it's
here.
mandated to pay a minimum wage, we have to meet that too. We have
I
no
get the
say.
minimum wage, that I understand. I
Yep.
understand.
We have
I
no say in the matter.
understand. What I think I was more thrown by was the amount it went up and the lack of notification.
And
That's pretty
I
much
think
where it
that's,
was.
yeah, I think that's well heard
I
and
can't
understand
fault you
both.
for that
If
at all.
maybe we could do something for, during the summer, at least for the community to get used to the race right now.
The sticker
You know,
shock.
next month is when, you know, we start getting charged for more water. I'm not gonna let my house burn down. And I know what I'm gonna pay, and
But unfortunately, it wasn't the ones that was responsible for that.
no,
are
I'm
not
asking, what
on
I'm
the
asking, is
council
there
anymore,
anything
though.
that they can consider maybe this summer, since it's such a high increase, if they could maybe get us through the summer so we can, as in not charge us for extra water through the summer, so we can at least budget this into our budget, get used to it, come next summer, then start charging us for over rate on water.
The only problem with that is if the town knows there's no charge, then they're gonna water with abandon, that could be $1,000.
I think anything could be
I don't
proposed.
think people will do that. No, I
Just
don't think
don't know.
people will
That's-
take advantage of
I
it.
think
That's a
anything could be
big statement.
proposed. I don't think there's any, in my personal opinion, I don't think that there's any hurt in proposing something. Will it be voted yes or no? That is the decision of the council. And so I think you could propose something that, you know,
I'm good.
I,
We can move on then.
I would like to meet the new person in town. Tell us your name.
My name's Joe, and I've been here since July.
Oh, you're new to me.
Yeah.
Where do you work?
I work in Spokane.
So you just live here?
Yeah.
Where do you live?
On second about one of the many houses.
Jill, I'll let you do that afterwards.
to Anita.
Oh, I thought you were done.
No. I appreciate you showing up. Absolutely. But we're gonna finish this and then we can go around. Jess, do you have something?
Different subject.
For me now.
Now the time?
Let's finish the minutes and the bills and then,
Okay.
is that fair?
Certainly.
I jumped the gun here.
Not a problem.
You're gonna do the January minutes first?
Do we need to do them both separately or as
Yes.
one? Yes.
Separate.
Okay. So yes, let's do the January first. The January minutes first.
I move that the January minutes be accepted as presented.
Okay.
I will second that.
Motion by Peter. And seconded by Levi. All in favor signify.
Discussion?
Yes.
I just wanted to compliment the city clerk on a nice job of doing a detailed example of the minutes. You've done a magnificent job. I understand why we got them late. That's a lot of work. I used to do that in Russian, and I know what it's, the amount of time and concentration it takes. You've done a magnificent job.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Okay. February minutes have passed 3-0. Let's move on to the February meeting minutes.
Move to accept the February minutes as typed.
I'll second.
Discussion for this one, Peter? Levi?
I'm good.
No.
No? All in favor of approving the minutes for the February 12th meeting? Approve as read? Sorry. Signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Same sign? Nothing. I don't think I said aye. I also.
Did you
Okay.
get to the HHPC reimbursement yet?
No, I was gonna do that on the 26th.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry.
So that just needs to be revisited.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask to make sure. Okay,
Okay.
that's tabled till the 26th.
Yeah. Bills. Right here.
The ones,
Did I?
ones dated for the 11th are the ones that haven't been paid yet. So these
Okay,
ones,
let's keep those out then. If we haven't.
those ones have been. And they're here if anybody wants to look at them.
We have the summarized version of the bills and then also
Stack.
the longhand.
I see a Vista Blue in there that always makes me nervous.
Is this the long version or the short version?
That is what I would call the short version.
It's the long one.
Is it?
Yeah.
What's
did
this
the-
version?
I did the long one. These are just the actual checks and the actual bills.
Right, that's the
Oh.
long version. This is
I
the
see what you're
summarized.
saying. But yes, I did them how you wanted them, so they were separated into categories, Peter, like you had said at the last meeting.
Thank you.
I just don't like seeing the mount on the Vista part. But
Makes your skin crawl.
In the future, will we be able to get the bills ahead of the meeting?
Absolutely.
Okay.
yep.
I just was with having Monday off with that training class, it really threw a wrench in things.
It's understandable.
Scott, can I ask you a question?
If I can find it, yeah.
Harrington Truck and Auto, they're building repairs and maintenance for 523. What were the building repairs? Or, sorry, for what building?
That's just how it's coded in bias. that wording.
This is bias wording.
That's bias wording,
I retract my question.
Yeah, there you
just
go.
for clarification.
I didn't spend $500.
Why I was curious.
But here is the bill if you want to look
Okay.
at their itemized
You bet.
statement.
You're not the only one still getting used to bias.
It's all right. Glad I can help someone.
So, guys, people that don't know, we have a new system, counting system that's computerized and electronic. And Janice has done a bunch of work being able to work it, and we're still also working on trying to make sure that at least I am. I can't speak for the rest of the council, but
Question for Scott. I see an entry for use of Roto-Rooter, $965. What was that for?
We had a line that plugged up, and we had to have it snaked out with a jet rotor. We currently don't have a snaking machine that works. And we hand snaked it and it didn't work, so I had to call Roto-Rooter. And I had 2 lines done, one down by the old state shed that runs between first and second and fourth, or third, and then the line between Sherlock in the alley at my old place, between Sherlock and Lincoln.
How long did it take them?
It took them about, I don't know, 3 hours.
Yeah, it was closer to 4 on the bill. And some of that was a citizen cost. Not of that was our cost, but a citizen had another $400 and some cost.
It's a lot of money for cleaning out a couple of pipes.
Yeah, but it's what you have to do.
is it pressurized water? What's
Yeah, it's like a pressure washer that's on the end of a hose, and they run, and it drives itself up the hose line and washes back.
It took longer too because they got stuff.
It's a niche market. They can charge what they want.
You got mileage and
Well, where's Roto-Rooter out of? That's Spokane?
Spokane.
Oh, yeah.
They charge us $250 just to come down.
Yeah.
you just need to get on hand and blow.
Do we have any other
The
out?
other end sucking.
Do we have any other outstanding bills or warrants, or is this?
Yes.
we do?
This is the sheet that needs to be paid. And the checks are right here with the bills. That might have been what he was looking at.
Is this the same as the stack that
Yes, that's the same copy. Sorry,
Okay.
I didn't realize what you had.
I have a copy of that? Thank you.
You guys have any more questions for bills?
No,
I'm good.
Okay. Have
Did you grab the other 2 copies that were
Peter,
with this one?
no?
we didn't do anything about that other letter,
about the what?
the other letter. Were you supposed to present it or not?
No.
Okay.
More copies of this?
No, there's 2 more.
I
They're
can't discuss
different.
it. That was an issue in the executive session.
Okay.
Did they get moved down to Peter?
Peter, do you have last 2 pages of this document in your stack that's in your hand?
We're getting a lot of documents. I don't know what I have.
Which one are you looking for, Janice?
There's ones that say 217 to
5
231 that got taken from this stack.
272 to 331.
Yes. Do you have copies?
I have a copy of it.
How many pages are there supposed to be total?
There's 3 on one, I think, and 2 on the other. Yeah.
Got it. So you can just take my copy with that.
Okay. For signatures.
Yeah, run
And I
me
guess
off.
I just need a signature page off the other one.
Off the other one?
Yep.
Okay.
So you guys need
Got
to,
everything?
yep,
Need a motion?
sign those when you do it.
Yes.
Make a motion to approve the February 2020 bills as presented.
Seconded.
Discussion? Is everything good? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Passes 3-0. Okay, unless I've drastically forgot something, I believe that is all I have on my agenda with the additions and everything. Anyone of you guys have anything else?
No.
Public comment still?
You bet.
Is there any information the council can give us on how they intend to fill the vacancy
Which,
on the council?
Oh,
sure. So we put an ad in the paper.
What paper?
Davenport Times.
Lincoln Advertiser, Davenport Times, and the
Odessa
Record. And then there were letters of interest that were required to be sent to the city, and I believe we put an ending date on that, correct? Just like we did the Public Works job. There was a date that the letters had to be in by, and then from there, the council then chooses to appoint a person or persons, depending, and same with the mayor. So the mayor's in the same spot, and the council position as well.
so you won't stay the mayor?
I don't know. It's up to the council.
What was the question again?
I just assumed he was gonna stay the mayor till the next election.
Oh,
Yeah, so
Do it by when?
do
The county will put somebody in?
90 days.
90
Yep.
days, yep.
So that's
Discussed that, how many meetings? 2 or 3 months here. I've listened to it.
for what?
That the county will put somebody in if the council doesn't do it.
Oh yeah, correct.
That was said right here.
I'm sorry, I missed that. I thought you were asking another question. Yeah, absolutely. We have 90 days, and then see, I researched it quite a bit. The county then has 180 days, and if they for some reason didn't fulfill it, then has to be petitioned to the governor.
Don't want that.
So no. Okay. Any other public comments? No? Good?
end of business?
That is all I have.
Yahoo, record.
Move to adjourn the meeting.
A second.
That's a record
No
quick
doubt.
meeting.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Congratulations, you set
Nay.
a record, I think. We got the business done.
I felt like I talked pretty fast.
On
Not
the
a
website for the city,
And I just need signatures from you guys.
comes down there, the second
Lux got 'em.
Wednesday is,
I'm just gonna take it out from under his hand.
you know who updates that?
Yeah, I believe. Yep.
I
believe-
Agenda on that.
Today is the 11th.
It is.
It is. Yes, correct.
All day.
So she just.
3/11/2020 or 20, however you want to do
I
it.
almost put it 2200.
22. It's not 10 o'clock.
I don't have my spot to sign.
Does that thing shut off?
No, you can pause it, please.
Is it
I
off?
did not.